Assalamualaikum and welcome back, my students. Let's continue our lecture on our course at chapter number 5 and related about conservation biological control. Okay, this time we will discuss about another group of organisms which can act as beneficial organisms to control insect pests in agriculture. Okay, before that, this is the fifth lecture video that related about chapter number 5 for our course. Okay. Those organisms, as I mentioned just now, which is non-insect beneficial group. Okay, example group member belong to this animal group, which are spider, such as ox weaver, wood spider, jumping spider, and then another group of non-insect beneficial group that we call predatory mites. Example group member belong to this group of non-insect beneficial group, which are spider mites, thrips, and scale. Okay, then based on information that stated in this slide, it also mentioned about a third group of non-insect beneficial group that can be used in the agriculture, which are parasites of insect and pest nematodes. Okay, students, let's continue our discussion on next slide. Okay, this is another slide that related about another group of organisms. Okay, which is the beneficial organism that can be used to control insect pests in agriculture. But this kind of group beneficial, which is non-insect beneficial organism, that also can be used to control the insect pests in agriculture. Example, group member belong to this group of microorganisms, which are bacteria, fungi, nematodes, protozoa, and viruses. Students, let's continue to discuss about another strategy that we can use to manage the environmental issue that happen in this world. This kind of strategy that we call in situ and ex situ conservation. Okay, both is strategy in terms of method that can be used to manage the environmental problem in this world, can be practiced in this world. In terms of its meaning, in situ conservation is mean that the conservation of the plant animal in their natural environment. But ex situ conservation, you want to conserve an animal and plant, okay, outside their natural habitat. Okay, students, let's continue our discussion about in situ conservation or other meaning, or not other meaning, another name belong to this conservation method that we call on-site conservation. Okay, description about in situ conservation. Okay, the first one, site of conservation of the plant animal in their natural environment. It involves the conservation of total ecosystem in protected area. And then the lastly, information related about in situ conservation, which is protected area, for example, okay, any habitat or place or center that can be used to practice the conservation method, which are national park, wildlife sanctuary, biosphere reserve, Ramsar site, and World Heritage Center. Okay, students. Okay, this is slide we want to discuss about in situ conservation. Other name for in situ conservation, which is outside conservation. In terms of description for this method, this is outside conservation animal and plant outside their natural habitat. This is particularly important for some endangered species, example of habitat, place, or center, whereby we can use it to apply this conservation method, which are zoo, botanical garden, gene bank, pollen bank, seed bank, germplasm bank, tissue culture center, cryosurvey center, and etc. Table in this slide, okay, is shown the difference between in situ and ex situ conservation method. Now we want to compare in terms of difference between these both conservation methods. The first one, in terms of its characteristic, okay, between these both conservation methods. The first one, this method involves protection of endangered species in their natural habitat, but for ex situ, it involves placing of threatened animal and plant in special care unit for their protection. The second difference in between these both conservation methods, the second one, it have in recovering population in the surrounding where they have developed their distinct feature. But for the ex situ, it have in recovering population or preventing their extinction under stimulated conditions that closely resemble their natural habitat. Okay, now the third is different between these both conservation methods. Okay, now for the third, we want to discuss what kind of center, what kind of habitat, what kind of area that we can use to practice for both these conservation methods. For in situ conservation method, for example, national park, biosphere reserve, wildlife sanctuary, and etc. But for in situ, this kind of place, or center or habitat, we can use it botanical garden. That's the first example. Followed the second example that's stated in this slide, which is zoological park. Okay, students, let's discuss about another information related about this boat conservation method in our next slide, this one. Okay, this one we want to discuss in terms of the advantage using of in situ conservation in this world. Okay, in situ conservation is the best strategy. So this is the best strategy that we can use to protect our endangered or any animal or plant which is in the level of extinction. So in situ conservation is the best strategy for the long-term protection of the biodiversity. Large pocket or area of protected zone are essential, for not only conserving vast number of species or living organisms, but also provide opportunity to import, for those animal or plants. Okay, now based on this slide again, it also mentioned about the limitation or disadvantage using the in situ conservation. Okay, the first one is the advantage about this method. The first one, many protected habitats are now not large enough, not maintained properly, and are not properly protected from environmental pollution. And the second limitation for this method, which is many protected habitats are used for logging, tourism, or other profitable activities, those diluting the objective or conservation of the biodiversity. Okay, students, we are already finished about to discuss the advantage and disadvantage using the in situ conservation to protect our wildlife and plant that present in this world. Now we want to discuss in terms of advantage and disadvantage again, but right now to another method that we call ex situ conservation. Okay, this slide. Okay, as I said just now, we want to discuss about advantage of ex situ conservation. So in terms of its benefit of this method, the first one, the organism is assured of food, shelter, and security, and hence can have longer lifespan and breeding activity, thus increasing the possibility of having more number of offspring. The second advantage using the ex situ conservation method, under human care and secure conditions, the chance of survival increase. The third, ex situ conservation also provides the possibility of using genetic technique to improve the concerned species. And lastly, advantage using this method, which is using this method, captive breeding can provide animal for possible reintroduction to the wild, at the later stage, or for supplementing current population with new stock. Okay, students, continue our discussion about ex situ conservation, but in next slide, this one, we want to discuss in terms of limitation or disadvantage about this method. So the first one, ex situ conservation can be adopted only for a few selected species because of limitation of space, financial, and facility in the institution that undertake the captive breeding. This limitation, however, can be solved to a certain extent by having more mini zoo and deer park, which can act as a sink for the surplus, hybrid, ages, and inform animal, while the larger zoo can focus on serious captive breeding of endangered species. The second one, the last, based on two statements that present in this slide, talking about the advantage for in situ conservation. The second one, the last one, ex situ conservation under a set of favorable environmental conditions deprive the organism the opportunity to adapt to the ever-changing natural environment. As the result, new life form cannot evolve and the gene pool stagnant. So this is advantage talking about ex situ conservation. Students, this is the last slide for our lecture video on chapter number 5 entitled Environmental Issue and Conservation. Therefore, I would like to say thank you for your attention.